Hey there, this is Christina Johnson, Certified Transformational Nutrition Coach and owner of Christina Johnson Wellness. Today I want to tackle the subject of snacking and whether we really do need to eat every 2 hours and have, a couple snacks throughout the day, or if it's better to not snack and to just eat your 3 main meals. And so, I remember for years that the only message I really heard from, health experts and diet programs was that it's much better to eat, 6 small meals a day or to, at least eat every couple of hours in order to keep your blood sugar levels stable. And so that's what I did for years. I can vividly remember when I was still working as a school counselor, every evening packing my food for the next day. And so I'd pack up my breakfast, and then I'd have my morning snack, and then I'd plan out and pack my lunch, and then I'd have my afternoon snack. And then, just to be on the safe side, sometimes I'd throw in an extra backup snack just in case, I was hungry. And so I would have this lunch bag just packed to the brim. Usually I couldn't even fit everything in it because I had planned out all my food for the day. And it worked okay for me, but what I remember is that it just felt like I was thinking about food all the time. I was having to plan out all this food and then prepare it and pack it up. And then throughout the day, it felt like I was just, eating constantly every couple of hours throughout the day. And so much of my time and my mental energy was focused on food. And so I just started to wonder, over the last year or two, is this really the best? If it is, great. But if not, is it time to try something different? And so I just kind of started looking into this a little bit, this whole idea of snacking. And so I want to share with you some of the things that I've kind of come across and things that I share with my clients, and then you can decide what's best for you. But one thing that I thought about is from a historical perspective. If you think about back before probably, I would say the mid to late 70s, people did not snack. They would eat their 3 main meals. They might have dessert a couple times a week, but that was it. And then, in the late 70s, I believe, is when we really started having a lot of packaged and processed foods and snack foods available to us. And then all of a sudden we started getting the message, well, you need to eat every couple of hours. And so we're consuming all these packaged snacks. And I've asked several people who, are of a little older generation. I asked my parents, and, my mom said, no, we never snacked. We had our 3 meals. We had dessert a couple times a week. That was it. My dad, who grew up on a farm, and so, after school, he'd come home and have to do all these chores. He said, if anything, we might grab an apple and eat that before we did chores because it'd be a while until supper. But that was it. And so I just think over time, our bodies, we haven't been designed to have food available to us at our fingertips like we do now. And so I don't think that we've been evolved over time to eat constantly. I think that, we're meant to be eating food every few hours because historically that's what happened. And it's so interesting that if you look at, since the late 70s or so, that is exactly when obesity rates skyrocketed. And now I am not saying that doesn't prove that snacking is causing obesity by any means. But I just think it's interesting to consider that, we have all these processed snack foods that are starting to become available to us. We're starting to snack more and graze throughout the day, and obesity rates are skyrocketing. So even if it's not causing obesity, it seems like it's not working for a lot of people. So that's one thing that I've been considering when thinking about whether or not snacking is a healthy thing to do, is that over time, I don't think historically people have snacked as much as we do now. Okay, the second thing I considered is biologically, like what happens in our bodies when we eat. And so, I looked at several different nutrition experts who've looked at this, Diane Sanfilippo, J.J. Virgin, and several others, integrative medicine doctors. And what they explain is that when we eat, anytime we eat food, our body breaks that food down into glucose, and then our body uses that glucose for energy, so we can do everything we need to throughout the day. Well, once we use up the glucose from the food we eat, then our body, will start using glucose that we've stored in our muscles and liver. But then once we use up that stored glucose, you know what happens? This is the great thing. Then our body will start to burn stored fat. So if you are trying to lose weight, that is exactly what you want to have happen. You want your body to use up the glucose and then start burning stored fat. So what a lot of nutrition experts suggest then is that by eating a meal, using up that glucose and then waiting 4 or 5 hours until you eat again, then your body is able to start burning some of that stored fat. And to me, that makes sense that it would be good to have that time in between meals so that we're not constantly giving ourselves glucose for fuel. You know, another thing to take into consideration is that the process of digestion is a very labor and energy intensive process for a lot of people. So when we're eating, you know, that's why a lot of people after you eat, you feel tired, you maybe feel a little foggy headed, you might crash an hour later. It's because that food has a big impact, and the way your body digests it affects how you feel. And so a lot of experts again suggest that giving our digestive system a break every couple of hours is just very helpful and kind of restorative for the body. So, you know, so I considered those the historical factor that people haven't always snacked throughout the day, the fact that our body can turn and burn stored fat when we take a break from eating in between meals, and then just the fact that I felt like I was so overconsumed by food when I snacked all the time. And here's the thing, I think that by saying that snacking is okay, I was giving myself permission to graze throughout the whole day. And I ended up eating when I wasn't even really hungry. I ate because, oh, it's 3 o'clock, it's snack time, I can have my afternoon snack now. And I was completely ignoring the fact that I wasn't actually physically hungry. And so it caused me to stop listening to those signals that my body gave me. So, you know, kind of as a result of all of these different factors, I decided for myself to experiment a little bit with waiting in between meals and not snacking as often. And for me, I feel like that's a good choice. But here's what I want to say. So when I throw out that question, should you eat every 2 hours and snack, or should you wait longer in between meals and not snack? The question is, or the answer is, it really depends, because everybody is different. And what works for me may not work for everyone else. And so my main point today is to suggest that, you know, if you are someone who's eating 6 meals a day or snacking throughout the day, and if it is working for you, so if you are at a healthy weight, if you have good energy, if you can think clearly and focus, then don't change anything. If it is working, if something's working and it's not broken, then don't fix it. On the other hand, though, if you are someone who is struggling to lose weight, if you feel like you're just consumed with food all the time, if your energy levels kind of like go up and down throughout the day, then maybe you want to experiment with trying something different, which might be waiting longer in between meals to eat. Now, if you choose to experiment with this, I want to just offer a couple suggestions and tips. Number one, if you eat and then you crash an hour later, or if you are, you know, feeling lightheaded or weak or irritable, then that's probably a sign your blood sugar levels aren't stable. And so you do really want to make sure your blood sugar levels are stable, because you should feel good. From the time you eat breakfast, if you wait 4 hours to eat lunch, you should feel good that whole time. You might start to get hungry near the end. Maybe you can feel that hunger in your stomach, but you should have energy, you should be focused, and you should feel good. So if you're not feeling good, listen to your body, and maybe you need to have a snack. And maybe it just means gradually extending the window. Maybe instead of eating every 2 hours, you stretch it to 2.5 and then 3. But always listen to your body and make sure you're feeling okay. You know, another thing to consider is that this is not about restricting calories and cutting them back. If you restrict your calories too much, then your metabolism can slow down. So you want to be eating enough at your 3 main meals that you feel full and satisfied until the next meal. And so, yes, I have a comment here. Yes, that is my set, is my office here. So you want to make sure that you're not cutting back calories too much to slow down your metabolism. So that might mean eating more for breakfast than you normally do, so that you feel full and satisfied. You want to be eating lots of good protein and fat so that you can make it until your next meal. So that's another key thing to keep in mind, is that it's not about restricting your calories. The third thing that I will share, and the final thing, is that the key is to listen to your body. So if you're not feeling good, then stop. Or there's some days where my husband and I may not eat supper until 7 or 7:30 because he's getting home late. And so that's a long stretch to eat. And so some days, if I'm truly physically hungry, I know I'm going to be eating a late supper, then I'll have a snack. No big deal. It doesn't have to be cut and dried, black and white. But I kind of just go on a day-by-day basis. And so when I'm meal planning for the week, I'll plan out 1 or 2 things that I could have for a snack. But I'm not saying, okay, 10 a.m. I'm having a snack, and 3 a.m. I'm having a snack. And a lot of days I don't snack. And so just listen to your body. If you're truly physically hungry, then have a snack, but if not, you don't need to. So, I'm curious, and you can type this into the comments if you're a snacker right now or not. So, I know a lot of people are. That's what most health experts recommend. And so there's a lot of snackers out there, but maybe just think about whether or not it's time to switch it up and try something different. So if you are, interested in this, like I mentioned, keeping your blood sugar levels stable is crucial. I did put together a guide a while ago. If you haven't downloaded it yet, you might want to, but it's 10 different foods that beat sugar cravings and help to stabilize your blood sugar levels a little bit. So it makes it easier to avoid snacking. So if you want that guide, you can just go to ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/top-10, that's the number 10, 10, -foods. So top-10-foods. And I can put that in the comments if you would like to get that guide. And then also, if it feels overwhelming to try and figure out what works best for you, then please know that that's what I do as a health coach. I help people customize a program that will work for them and figure out the best approach for you. So if you're interested in learning more about health coaching and whether that could help you figure out what works for you, then feel free to comment that you would like to get on the phone call and talk with me about it, or you can go to ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/apply, and you can just let me know that you're interested in a complimentary discovery session. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I know it's not a cut and dried answer of either yes, you should snack or no, you shouldn't snack, but it's all about, empowering you to listen to your body and figure out what works best for you. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to type them into the comments, and I will talk to you again later.